Hi, I'm Effie. I just completed a placement at a rural community health centre, and the client I'm going to be talking about to you today is James. I'll call him James, a 4.5-year-old boy, and he attends kindergarten 2.5 days a week. He was referred to OT by his teacher because of behaviour and concentration issues and because he wasn't performing to the same level as the other kids in his class. So James lives in a Homes West house with his 2 younger brothers and his parents. His parents are both unemployed and receive Centrelink payments. James enjoys playing soccer with his brothers and his dad, and watching TV and playing on the swings in the playground. So the question I'm going to ask myself about James is why it is important to provide intervention to James in regards to his role as a student, both now and in the future. So I guess I'll start by talking about some of the issues that James had and then how they will affect his performance as a student. So I'll just talk about the main issues, seeing as I don't have much time. One of the big ones was bilateral integration, which is the skill that James should have developed as a 4.5-year-old boy, but which he is still avoiding crossing the midline. And so the ability to cross the midline and develop the use of both hands is really important in developing dominance and like being able to use both sides of your body in a coordinated manner. So then it also links into other high-level skills like motor planning and spatial awareness. So because James doesn't have this, right now it's affecting his ability in mat time. So he can't sit cross-legged there. He sort of sits in a slouch posture leaning against something. He doesn't cooperate or participate in group activities such as like the Incy Wincy spider things because whether it's a motor planning problem and that sort of thing. Also Simon says he doesn't participate in doing the actions for that. So right now that's what it's affecting, but as he gets older and starts school, one of the main occupations we have as a student involve reading and writing, and so bilateral integration and crossing the midline is really important for that, for visual scanning. He's not yet scanning across the midline. So to be able to read and write, and also the dominance, you need to have one hand that's really dominant as opposed to 2 sort of average hands so that you can write and so that you can start from the left and move across to the right of the page. It is all about crossing the midline, and so if James hasn't developed that, then he's going to really find it hard to read and write at the level of his peers. And we know that, that can affect his confidence and self-efficacy and, and therefore, may contribute to his concentration issues and his inability to join in because he may have that fear of failure. And the other thing with motor planning is a really important skill to develop as a student in the future, from anything to from playing sports, hopscotch, jump rope with his classmates, even initiating tasks and being able to follow those when the teacher tells him something to do, being able to figure out what he needs to do to complete that task. It is a really important skill that James needs to develop so that he can perform successfully as a student. Also, further assessment whether James does have an auditory processing difficulty because of his inability to follow instructions. So he needs continual prompting. You have to say his name 3 or 4 times before he responds to you. So if he does have an auditory processing issue, it may not be that much of a deal when you're working one-on-one, but when he's in a busy classroom with other noisy kids around and the teacher's saying something, he's going to find it really hard to process that information and then carry out a task that he needs to do. So these are all really important skills that he has to develop so that he can concentrate in class. And so giving him those, also gross motor postural, he has low postural tone, giving him exercises for that so that he can sit comfortably at a desk for more than a couple of minutes, and so that he is more likely to concentrate. They're all really important for his role as a student because they do spend a large majority of the day sitting there reading and writing. So thank you very much.